Hey guys, live here at the shop Friday afternoon. Not anything super important planned. I've just been playing around with one of these little Inductrix FPV type rigs. I'm not a great pilot, and the point of that is that I need to fix this thing. I've got a new frame, and I'm not looking to actually give advice on these little things at all. I'm just having fun, and haven't shot any video in a while, so thought I would just do a live video, and that would give me something to do while I worked on this thing. So really, that's all I've got planned. This is a cheap little FPV quad, and this is an even cheaper replacement frame for it. So having a lot of fun flying around these little things in the shop, especially towards the end of the day when most of the people are gone and I can just buzz a handful of people. So yeah, that's all I'm planning on doing today. I've never really worked on one of these things much before. The only thing, thanks everyone for joining in here and all the comments. I've got both Facebook and YouTube going. I'll try and keep up with the comments on both. But like I said, I've never really worked on these. I had to replace the motors on the first day because I burnt those up, obviously, since the whole piloting thing is not my strong point. I am loving the FPV stuff though, so I'm jumping into that completely, and you know, I'm not going to do like the FPV thing like I do on you know, with the RC car or with the crawlers on YouTube or anything like that. I'll leave that for the guys that know more what they're doing. I'm just having fun. Like the questions on here, I'm not the person you should probably go to for advice on these little things. I've picked up some replacement parts off Amazon. You know, being a newbie is rough, and it definitely has, you know, it's been a long time since I was a newbie at RC stuff, so this is something new for me, and I'm still having a lot of fun. You know, the whole FPV U4 racing. I always thought that would be fun. You know, I do think that I would like to try and throw an FPV camera in a crawler. Probably not a U4 rig. They're kind of, how fast and bouncy those things go, I don't think that would work out that well. But I think doing a little, like a slow technical scale crawler with the U4 stuff, or with the FPV stuff, would be great. So obviously the expensive part of the FPV stuff is getting all of the FPV equipment. So I bit that bullet yesterday and went ahead and got my new Fat Sharks and radio gear and transmitters, and I went ahead and bought all the stuff I needed to do a full quad build. So that will start showing up next week. I'm looking forward to that. I had a lot of help with what I should get from a handful of guys that you know, were awesome enough to lend a hand and help me get started with pointing me in the right directions and getting everything that I needed going. So, like I said, this little thing is, well, if you don't know what this is an Inductrix FPV. These things are about $200, or significantly cheaper if you're my wife. But, let's see. I'm trying to switch. So, anyway, try and get a decent view here for some of these things. So, this thing is a couple $100, you know. For another $50, you get the little Spectrum goggle adapter that works with the monitor that this thing comes with. So that's pretty awesome. And honestly, for the money and how fun it is inside of the shop here, it's been a blast. And all it really did was cause me to spend a ton more money on getting the bigger, better, faster stuff. So let's see. Where can you shop for the parts I make? Vanquish products. There you go. VanquishProducts.com. That's where you can find all of that. And what I've done already is forgot which way is the front. Oh, it's got a little arrow. How handy is that? So I should take a picture to make sure that I remember which way things go, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Perfect. There we go. So, there we go. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. These little things are, I actually think these things are kind of tough to work on, you know, because things are tight press, you know, or tight kind of push fits, and you just kind of have to pull on things, and they just, it's odd for me to work on. So I think that the bigger size will be a little bit better for me. Oh, okay, so there's one more screw here, is in the front. I ended up shoe gooing this frame one time already, and it really looks like I've actually cracked it in a few places that I was not aware of. So, but yeah, I'm really having a lot of fun with this, and you know, now that I've got the big expenses over, I can expand from there. Everyone says that if you build one, you're going to build a bunch of them, and we'll see how all that goes. Well, I have to like the first one I build first. Otherwise, I guess I'll just have a bunch of stuff that I will have to sell for way cheaper than I bought it. Let's see. No, we cannot tour the Vanquish shop. Sorry. That's we don't do that very often. So, is that hex or this takes? I've got like my little eyeglass type repair Phillips head screwdriver, because that appears to be about all that I've needed so far. So now what was interesting is that this thing has this little, oh no, that's how that should be. I guess this is just the little antenna that goes inside for the actual board, not the FPV. Yeah, the big expenses do never end. I totally agree on that. Let's see. Yeah, so what I really dislike is how you have to push the motors out and things like that. And I know I could take the props off this first, which I probably should do, but also since I am not worried about this frame anymore, this is one of the pieces of the frame I already broke. You can see there. That's where I actually shoe gooed it. Let's see. Sorry. Do I still have the axial deadbolt? Yes, I still have my axial deadbolt. It is in the other room. It's actually in pieces though. So while it does still exist, it doesn't exist as anybody remembers it. What does the drone have alt lock? Does the drone have alt lock? I don't know what alt lock means. Oh, altitude lock probably, like GPS? This thing doesn't. Rock jocks or F9s for a bomber? Well, maybe it kind of depends on how much power you're going to put to it. And the reason I say that is that the F9s have the 14 by 5 by 5 inner pinion bearing, so they'll hold up to a little bit more power, where the rock jocks have the standard 5 by 11s. So that would be the only reason I would say one over the other. Other than that, it's just style, you know, beyond that part of it. Also, the rock jocks have the one-piece bearing retainer, which is a little bit more support of the side supports on the ring gear as well. What's the picture behind me? That is an axial Yeti with rock jocks and sway bars, trailing arms, and stock tires and wheels. Let's see. Rock Ray U4 Killer. I don't, you know, the Rock Ray did really well at U4 Nationals last week. But the track that they ran it at was a very big track and very fast track. So I don't know that it will always be the case. You know, on the tighter technical tracks, I don't know. It depends on, you know, there isn't the upgrades for them yet. So you've got that to take into consideration. there's a lot of those things like that that I think you have to. It will depend. You know, the Yeti can be built to stand up. Granted, it doesn't, stand up fantastic out of the box, especially with a bunch of power. So, there's things like that that all come into play. Come on. God, these things are actually a pain to work on. I'm not kidding. It's just... Okay. We're making a modification. What is the top speed of the Yeti? I have no idea. I don't really ever pay attention to what top speeds are listed at. I don't think it's really important for what we do most of the time, because in the rocks, it just doesn't matter. It's all about how it handles in a ton of other situations. And, whether it's fast or not, it also has to have the torque to not overheat just because it's fast. So I wouldn't put as much, wouldn't pay too much attention to top speed that's listed. Let's see. Yeah, and also when you have to provide your own battery, it's kind of depends on what you make it. So I do have a rock ray. I don't know. Rock ray's in the other room, I think. I have one here. It's a nice looking truck. There's some things on it that definitely need fixing, but most do, especially with how we use them. Aha, gotcha. Okay, let's see. Jesus. No. So let's see. So the this little thing has obviously made me look at a number of other things that now I have to have, and this and that, and all of those things. And I'm really looking forward to just trying something else. It's one more thing to play with, one more new experience. If it's like most other types of RC, it won't interest me as much as the scale off-road side has. So, but I'll play with it for a little while. I'll have fun and I'll move on and end up selling half the stuff for. I have not removed the stock plugs off the LiPo. I have seen that they've said to do that because it's power draining and those things go bad. So on the next time I get into all that, it's definitely something that I'll probably look at. I totally get what they're saying. It makes sense. I also picked up the little micro X4 high-tech charger, which people say can kill the plugs. So I need to get some extensions and make it so that works better for those and doesn't ruin my. Granted, they're like $6 batteries, so it's the $6 batteries that's pretty awesome. I'm not used to things being quite as cheap as these little things are. Even that new race quad. I have no intentions of racing or I even think that the idea of me running through gates with a race quad is a really bad idea. But get out of your hole. you know, even that thing was. I'm really surprised at how affordable, I guess you'd say, that stuff is in comparison to what, you know, a lot of what it costs to build a really durable rig for something like we do, especially for how I drive, or how I like to drive. Let's see. Data stock for now. I need to do the. I have been slacking on videos lately. It's our busy season, so I've been just super slammed with things, and I have a lot of things that I'd like to do videos on that I just haven't had time to. Let's see. You don't know until you try. That is very true. I have no idea. I really don't know what to expect out of the FPV stuff yet. I have no, you know, I say the bigger FPV stuff. Honestly, with this little thing and how much fun I've had inside this building, flying around, you know, in and out of the inventory area and in the machine shop area. Now, I have been a little skeptical about flying this little thing in around the machine shop, just because we've got our CNCs everywhere, and some of the CNCs have areas where the coolant tanks are open, and we also have a huge coolant recycling system, so that all of our coolant gets pumped out of the machines, recycled, cleaned, and it's a big system, but it's got a big open top, you know, a couple 100 gallons of open top coolant, and I can just see this thing turning into a submarine and me losing my, you know, knowing that this little thing costs $200 now, and for what it costs to get that full other race quad built, I'm kind of surprised how expensive this thing was. Granted, how cheap all the parts are. Let's see. Let's see. They'll probably just. The Traxxas scale crawler. I'm really excited for it. I think that it's going to be exciting. I think that I'm fully on board to get one of those and work on one, and I think that thing looks like a ton of fun personally. So I think that we're gonna, from last I saw, it's going to be in the middle to end of summer before we're gonna see it, but it's fine with me. I think it'll be a hit. So I'm all for it. Budget build on what? The budget builds are fun sometimes, but I'm not looking to. Right now, I have no time to do a budget build. That's for sure. Am I looking to do a budget build on Traxxas card? No, not yet at all. Can't do a budget build until there's lots of things available. It's just how it works. There's got to be tons and tons of option parts, otherwise it's super stale and just is not worth it. So the budget builds only happen when it's the right time. So, all right. These things are. Remember the old Losi micros and how terrible those things were to build and work on? This is worse. At least the Losi Micro had parts that screwed together. These all just pull and push together. But, okay. Yay, the motors are back in. Everything seems to be spinning fine. Let's see. Sorry, I'm losing track of comments. Have I seen the Blade Torrent FPV? I saw that yesterday, I think. That looked pretty cool. Do you have an opinion on the new Castle censored brushless combo? So the new Castle I've got, I'm interested to see the new Castle brushless system. So I have 2 of the new Mamba Max Pro X or Mamba Max X, whatever. I've got 2 of those coming, and I picked up 2 of the different KV systems that they've got for the censored brushless systems. I want to see what they're like, so I needed to pick those up, and I took care of that this week, so I will see those soon, and then I'll see what I think of it. So rubber grommets suck. Shouldn't there be a pin or something? Pain in the ass. Oh, one of these has to go on first, right? How did this work? Did I put this whole thing on backwards? No? I think this frame's just different. Let's see. Traction Hobby Founder. I saw that thing. Honestly, I don't. It's $700 for a fully upgraded car for that Traction Hobby thing is $700 is reasonable for like a nice upgraded car, but knowing that it's all just going to be the those parts that we all know that they are, pass. I'm just not interested. I would not personally own one. So I guess this thing is not going to support this board in the front. There's a high likelihood that I bought an incorrect frame, but most stuff seems to be lining up. So we'll call that close enough. Jesus. No, pass on anything capo. Capo is a fucking waste. Sorry, I keep missing comments. I will brush this question for you. You can send me a PM. I will try to answer it as soon as I can. Make sure I'm making 3-position dig units for the SCX-10. Hopefully the dig unit will be back before too long. Let's see. I think that I put the motors back in the right order. We'll see. 1.5 wheels, I don't know. It's really, I don't know. Just so many things. No, the Capo Ace is just, seriously, anything Capo is a waste of money. It's such poor quality. Nothing fits well. And don't trust anything that guy says anyway. So, all right, how do I, so that's all the motors. I have to say my least favorite part of this thing right now is working on it. I should crash less, I guess. I also do like that there's so many things you can 3D print for these little guys. So I'm all for that. Also have the new Form 2 Formlabs printer here. These rubber grommets suck too. Jesus. I need 4 hands to work on this thing, but they have to be super tiny. Trying to get everything in there. feel like this is the equivalent of trying to color something in detail. Like I half concentrated with my tongue hanging out. Come on. What a pain in the ass. I'm gonna lose it. Really don't know how we're supposed to get this together. Plus, these screws seem way too short. What I should do is just take this whole canopy cover thing off and print the whole thing that's supposed to hold it on there. That's what I'm going to do. I've already decided. I'm going the next step. I'm going to print the thing that holds it together and separate the two boards or whatever it is. Come on. How does this thing come apart? There's that. Sorry, I'm super concentrated now. Oh, and it just falls out. Perfect. I had to pull harder. Yes, the noise in the background is aluminum chips being made. Could have swore that these things were supposed to be like soldered onto one board before, but now that they're already separate, I don't know what it is. Like I said, I know nothing about these yet. So I'm learning as I go. So, building it. Would you recommend for anyone looking for a fun build to do? Goal is I understand how the parts are together. What kit would I recommend? Well, if you're looking for an axial kit right now, my recommendation would be anyone you can find because they're all out of stock. You're probably going to have best luck trying to find something like a bomber right now. I would personally look for a bomber. Would be the best kit build to get right now. It's a solid kit. It's it's going to hold up pretty well. It's got a lot of good parts in it as far as the kit part goes. So I think that would be your best bet overall. But like I said, right now axial kits are becoming very hard to find with their recent supply issues. So if you want an axial kit, get it soon. All right, so four-wheel steer. Sorry, hello from Romania. 2028 Castle Big One. Oh, bar. Yeah, that's 1/5 scale stuff. So yeah. We're watching you. What? We are watching me work on a very tiny quadcopter that I know very little about, and what I'm doing here shouldn't be all that important anyway because I don't. It's just. It's just for the fun of actually doing a live thing tonight, because I just haven't done anything for a while. Felt like doing something. This is what I had to work on at the moment. I do have my bomber in here. Oh, it's not in here. It's in the other room too, but it looks all different from the last time anybody saw it on YouTube. It's been overhauled and cleaned up for the year. Damn it. Jesus. They may be building more or doing something. So yeah, you know, it's there's a guy playing the trumpet outside my window right now. You don't see that every day. In the across the parking lot from me is a music studio. So we always have interesting musicians and things like that hanging out around, but normally they don't play their instruments in the parking lot. So this thing had one screw that had like a big flat washer on it, which would have been super helpful if I had more like that. Like, let's see. No, I literally mean playing the trumpet, not a metaphor. Okay. Without a washer, these screws are just plain too small. Wraith or bomber? Bomber every day. A Wraith is just the old version of a bomber. Today, there's no reason not to get a Wraith instead of a bomber. And I will stick behind that all the time. Plus, transmission in the bomber, while it is bigger, puts the motor up higher and things like that, out of the box, even in the kit version, it's super, super strong. You don't have to do much upgrading to it. So you're solid there. The axles need the typical upgrades. The rear trailing arm setup gives you a ton of suspension. If you want to crawl, it'll crawl. If you want to go fast, add a sway bar to it, and you're set. You know, all the other typical upgrades are needed, of course, but still. You know, the Wraith is still a fun car. It was my favorite car for a really, really long time. But then once the bomber came out, I found no need to even own I don't even own a Wraith anymore now. Just bombers. I think that the bomber is that good that, you know, the car that was my favorite for however long, I have no desire to own anymore. Let's see. Where are we at here? Rock 412 or Pro 4? Totally depends on what you're looking at. Pro 4 HD, yes, add a sway bar either way on the bomber, true story. Pro 4 HD is an awesome motor in the bomber. That little bit more torque, also in the Yeti. So I like the Rock 412 and like a 1.9. And even in a lot of 2.2s, still a great motor. But I've become a really big fan of the added power of the Pro 4 HD in something that I want to go faster with. Can you put regular SCX10 upgrades on an SCX10 too? Some places, yes, but most places, no. I mean, the SCX10-2 is pretty much a new car as far as the axles go. The transmission, if you get the ready to run, is basically the same as a standard SCX. So you can use almost all the stuff there, but drive shafts you have to be really careful about on the kit version. All the transmission parts in the kit version are different. So, you know, you got to SCX10-2, just look for the parts that are right for it. Is Pro 4 HD enough for decent crawling? It'll crawl still. You just got... seriously, the guy with the trumpet out there is driving nuts. But yeah, I still crawl with my Wraith a little bit. Let's see. Decide if I keep my Wraith intact or scavenge electronics for a bomber. Depends on what that's a U call. But yeah, Pro 4 HD and a bomber is an awesome setup. I like the 3000. The 3500 is pretty solid. A little bit, got a lot of punch. That 3000 though is an awesome motor. Tons of great smooth low end, but still plenty of speed for the bomber. Especially I run everything on 3S. I guess that's another thing. Is the SCX-10-2 coming back? Can't find stock in it. Yeah, I was mentioning that right now, find what you can because it'll be back. They're just having major supply issues. So get what you can while you can. Do you like? I haven't looked at your Bomber XL much. I'm not a fan of the Yeti XL stuff. Had it, didn't like it really. It doesn't move very well. I don't know if Axial did not, make very many of them, and they didn't sell very many, I should say. So that, I didn't like that car. I wish I liked it. I thought that a Yeti XL or an XL style, vehicle like that would have been a lot of fun. I just don't like it. Yeti Junior. I bought one right away. I got it. I played with it a little bit, and I don't have it anymore. It didn't fit. I don't know. It's not my style. It wasn't my thing. So I was gonna do, I shot a bunch of video on it that I never finished editing, and then I sold it all. Actually, I traded it for an SMT-10. The SMT-10 is, yeah, you can hear the trumpet. It's driving me nuts. I will be at Axial Fest this year. What C ratings are on my 3S? So in my bomber, I run a 4,000 milliamp pack that I think is like a 80C, something like that rating. It's a max amps pack. So you decide what you want to believe for what people put ratings on what. Actually, I think they say 100C, which I don't know. That sure seems like a lot to get, but I don't have any way to. I don't have a tester to run it or anything like that. It's a great pack. I like it. It's too expensive, but get in the hole. Why are we not making chubs for the SCX-10-2? Because we have the Curries that have them built in. And honestly, with the Curry axles, for the price, you get built-in C-hubs, built-in lockouts, built-in diff cover, built-in lower link mounts, and a lot of those things, if you replace them anyway, you end up with a really cheap axle housing that's stronger anyway. So we did not see the need to do lockouts and C-hubs. Plus, we had a really good price on the Curry axles in general. So at this point, I don't think we're deciding to go back to do them, but we'll see. Never know in the future. So this is one of those dental tools, like when they You get your teeth cleaned or whatever. This is the only thing I found to be super handy so far. Get on there, you stupid rubber bands. Okay, so far I can definitely feel this frame is way more durable than that one that came with this thing. Let's see. I am at Vanquish. I work at Vanquish now. I've worked at Vanquish for just over a year. So I used to live in Kansas City, and I was a civil engineer there, and did this hobby stuff for fun, and just did YouTube and whatnot for fun. And now I do RC cars every day, all day. So that's also part of why I like the idea of this the quad stuff, because it's you know, I literally work on scale trucks every day. You know, it's my job now. So looking at what parts we're gonna do and design work, scheduling, things like that. So having a little bit of something else as well sounds like a good idea to me. Come on. Get in there. It is an awesome job. I don't regret the move or the whole life change at all. That my career of civil engineering. Sorry, okay, hold on. Why am I working on a tiny drone and not an SCX-10 II? Because my SCX-10 II is pretty much done. And it's been fun to fly around the warehouse in this little thing. And I can work on an SCX-10 II during the day while I'm working. Damn it. Can you move the big camera up a little bit? Sure. There. Get in there. All right. Let's see. Do I drink tequila? What's up, Ryan? I do not drink tequila. I will never, ever drink tequila again. Let's see. Yes. Damn it, my shirts are back. The whole Facebook back. Sometimes I switch and I use this. I use the OBS broadcaster for YouTube right now, which gives me the dual camera ability. And when I do that, it doesn't put my stuff backwards. And sometimes I use that for Facebook, so I forget that half the time I'm backwards and half the time I'm not. So I'm got my this little frame has nice little wire routing all built into it. I quite like this little thing. What I was so being new to the other side of this, where I picked up those other parts, the what I was not, I didn't do a ton of research myself on this. I had some friends that do it more. I didn't have time to do a bunch of research, but I wanted it now, and I didn't want to, but I didn't want to go on the Facebook groups like just start asking all the dumb questions that everyone does. So I got a bunch of help from some friends, which was way easier. But I almost bought a bunch of clone stuff that I didn't know, but I found out just before by reading some reviews. So I could have just seen all the comments if I would have accidentally done that. Now, since I don't have any screws that have washer like I need, I'm going to end up just making a washer. At least something temporary. Until I 3D print some sort of cover or holder for this thing. Which I guess I need to do anyway. Low-C rock claws. What do they even make rock claws for anymore? Did they 2.2 or 1? I haven't seen rock claws forever. So I guess it depends on what it is. The ECX Barrage Crawler. I don't have any experience with that thing. I probably won't either. I don't have much interest in that one. They still make 2.2 rock claws, huh? Wow. That was a short tire. I don't know. That really depends on what you're. I would go to Crawler Innovations and try and find something that's the weight. Look at the height of your tire. Soft in the front, mediums in the rear. If you're fairly light. Yes, so I did avoid the buying clones, and instead I did end up buying that X hover out of not far from me. I think he was out of Vacaville, California, or Vacaville. I don't know which way you say it, but he's not very far from me. So looked like it. Ryan, actually, I think you had suggested that one. So that one looked cool. I ended up picking that up. MOA crawling is actually a ton of fun. I always loved it. I wish the scene was still as big as it was. It's amazing what those things can do. size of the hardware on this thing is the worst part about working on this stupid little car. Or whatever, quad car, whatever it is. Okay. One washer down. Ever thought about adding more scale parts to my bomber? Not really. What do you mean by scale parts to my bomber? Like sleeping bags and coolers or something? Or like radiators and something else. I don't know. You know, a radiator and maybe some lights. Sure. Sleeping bags and stuff. No. The Orlando crawler thing, yes, I think that would be very reminiscent of working on one of these, and now that will kill me ever thinking of duct tape, rope, zip ties. Yes, just the whole kit, right? Ski masks. Some people may like the background noise. I have a feeling that the CNC cutting noise probably is not a lot of people's most favorite part of these live videos, but you know, you should try it flying. You should try making it flying like an old bomb. That trying to make a flying bomber, that would actually be kind of a fun idea. Granted, heavy and probably slow in all ways, but it's kind of a funny idea. All right, so now I have the flight controller mounted. Motors are all in, the wires are all routed. And what I have to do is figure out how to mount the camera still. Now this definitely has a way different battery mount than my old one had, so my current batteries do not sit in there well. So I'm going to have to either modify that and print an adapter or something. Use the rubber band method to hold it all in. But I could have swore that most people said that these two boards for the FPV stuff were attached, but mine are not. So I don't know if that was a running change or if I was just looking at the wrong thing. So either way, seems like I should be able to move some of these things. I don't think it'll take me very long to design up a new mount for this and mount that camera. I wouldn't mind mounting it like below it almost, or out in front, tuck it in, make it nice and small and tight in there. All of those things sounded bad. Let's see. Alrighty then. Radiate. The original mounted below the front props. So it seems like it would make it nice and low profile. I'm sure there's a reason that they don't do that anymore or something. I don't know. So I think I need to go draw something up quick and hit print before I leave. So, alrighty then. Just doesn't get a right on top feeling in the guts. Huh. I wonder if that's a bad thing or a good thing. I guess it might be a bad thing. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I was saying this thing was too heavy, but that thing feels super light to me. So let's see. Can I fly this thing at the end of the video? It would not be very exciting to watch me fly this little thing around the shop here. But if you would like to see people who know what they're doing fly these things very well, YouTube. It is watching the guys that really know how to fly these things fast, fly these things and whiz through courses that they've made in their houses and things like. It's crazy. I have no aspirations of being that good, but it sure looks like fun stuff. I think that's all we need to do for watching me work on an Inductrix. I've successfully started with something that almost flew and have something now that definitely will not fly. So, if that's not progress, I don't know what is. But it looks like I have a lot more work to do before this thing is anywhere near ready to fly now. So, let's call that a day. Thanks for watching me struggle through playing with a tiny quad. But that's about all I have for tonight, guys. I'll have more normal videos like I do up before too long. This was, again, just something for fun. So, with that, guys, thanks for watching all, and we'll see you next time. All right, see you guys.